The Toronto Blue Jays win the series finale against the New York Yankees 5-1 off the back of a strong performance from Kevin Gausman, and the Bats finally woke up. It took them a long time, but they finally woke up against Clark Schmidt. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of Jays Digest. What's up, Jays fans? I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, alongside host Nick Gosse, and we want to thank you for all the support that we've gotten on our videos, on our pregame live streams. It's been unreal. Hopefully, the Jays could start to go on a bit of a tear here, but a series win against the New York Yankees and 2 series wins against AL East opponents is a pretty good start.
Yeah, and another series win for the Blue Jays. It seems like even though they've had some tough losses, they've won the majority of their series to start the year, and the schedule is now going to start to even out and become a bit easier. But before we get into the video, make sure to hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 7K. But let's get into it. Let's start with Kevin Gausman. And Peter, I'll let you touch on him. What a dominant performance out of Kevin Gausman today, and coming off of his worst start of the year, one of the worst starts at least as a Blue Jay against the Houston Astros last time. He still had a great ERA coming into it, but he bounced back today for an unbelievable game.
Yeah, we were not worried, okay? I think we could get that aside. It was a one-off performance for Kevin Gausman. 7 earned runs in 1 inning is something unheard of for him, especially in a Blue Jays uniform. So it was probably his worst outing as a Jay. He got it out of the way early on in the season. And today, I mean, this was vintage Kevin Gausman. And I noticed something. He could tend to get predictable, right? Because he primarily uses 2 pitches. He uses his fastball and he uses his splitter. But today, I really noticed that he was varying his fastball velocity from 88 all the way up to 96 miles an hour. Now, that's by design. That's not because his arm is tired. It's because he wants to throw the timing off of these young, inexperienced hitters for the New York Yankees. So during the broadcast, Dan Shulman and Joe Siddall were saying, wow, I'm kind of worried because 3 pitches in a row at 90 miles an hour, and then he fires one off at 96, and they're like, never mind, not worried. So he does that by design. He was throwing his splitter for balls and for strikes, and like I said, he's just not getting predictable, even though he's primarily using 2 pitches. So fantastic work from him. Great bounce back performance. 11 strikeouts in 7 shutout innings, 103 pitches. And I actually predicted on the pregame live stream, Nick, that he would go 8 innings and 13 strikeouts scoreless. So I was pretty close.
Yeah, very, very close. And like you said, I'll pop it up again. 7 innings, 3 hits, 11 strikeouts, and he struck out so many that his pitch count was pretty elevated for 7 innings. It was about at 100, and I don't know, very, very good game. And you made a good point. Last year when Kevin Gausman was struggling, he wasn't really able to control his splitter as much and wasn't throwing it for strikes very often. But today and so far throughout the year, like you said, he's been able to keep it in the zone. And that makes it so the hitters can't just sit one pitch and leave the splitter when it's low. So it's something that was very, very good. And like you said, the fastball, it kind of works as a changeup in a way. Obviously, it doesn't have the same movement as a changeup, but at the very least, it throws off the timing of the hitters while also, keeping them honest. So that's a good point, and what a game for him. 11 strikeouts, and he's our ace. I think we've come to agree to that.
Yes. He is. He's definitely the ace of this ball club. And another thing with him, when he gets predictable, it's fastball high, it's splitter low. But today, you could see that he was varying the location of his fastball as well. He was going east-west, north-south, and he was touching each and every quadrant of the strike zone with that fastball, varying the speeds. Even though he's got 2 pitches, you could not tell what was coming next out of Kevin Gausman. And this was just such a much-needed performance, and just a great bounce back out of him.
Yeah, and quickly touching on the other short bullpen outing, Eric Swanson. He hasn't let in an earned run in like 20 days or something like that. So hopefully John Snyder starts to use him more. And Adam Simber struggled. He ended up going 1 inning, 3 hits and 1 run there, which he's really struggled throughout the year, but I won't harp on that too much. But overall, phenomenal outing by Kevin Gausman, phenomenal outing by the pitching staff. And let's get in to the bats waking up late and the offense, which is something that has been a major, major issue for the Blue Jays the past couple of games and throughout the season, has been hitting in with runners in scoring position. And today they managed to do some good hitting. So I'll pop up this here. And Peter, I'll ask you, who impressed you the most today? We do have a couple of clips to show you. Of course, home runs out of Varsho and Vladimir, but was there anyone else, or it could be them, that impressed you as we go through the box score?
Well, I'm going to go off the board here, and I'm going to say John Schneider because he shook up the batting order a little bit, and he dropped Matt Chapman back to the number 5 spot. And Chapman was 0 for his last 12 or 13, I believe. He was scuffling a little bit, and it's normal. He's not going to hit 380 for the season. It's not sustainable. but he was scuffling a little bit and getting pitched a lot tougher than he was early on in the season. So drop him down a little bit and sandwich Varsho in the middle of two of the hottest hitters in all of baseball, and then he might start to see some better pitches so he could get hot. And that's exactly what happened today. Matt Chapman got a couple of hits, and Daulton Varsho here with an absolute missile to right field. And that short porch in Yankee Stadium, it plays real nicely to a lefty power swing. And one thing I want to mention with Vladdy as well today, who also hit a home run, which you'll see right now. Vladdy's ground ball rate is down to 45% this year, as compared to 53%, which was alarmingly high, and 45% is on par with his 2021 season where he finished second in MVP voting. So if he can keep getting the ball in the air like he is right now, he's going to be in the mix once it's all said and done. And Varsho just needs to keep pulling the ball and getting it in the air. Don't worry about the strikeouts.
Yeah, Vladdy obviously loves hitting at Yankee Stadium, a second home run of the series. And like you said, and it's been noticeable by watching every game, he's not hitting as many ground balls, he's not hitting into as many double plays, and he's crushing the ball, and he's seeing it very, very well. Tons of walks as well. But like you said, Varsho is a bit more exciting, a bit more, I don't know, we've seen Vladdy home runs before. Varsho finally is starting to hopefully get his hitting tool locked back in, because his fielding has been unbelievable. It's just the hitting that's lacking. But otherwise, George Springer went 0 for 5. Bo Bichette went 0 for 4, which is crazy. We win a game where those top two guys go combined 0 for 9, and George Springer has really struggled so far this season, ever since the bit of a hot start there. Vladdy, of course, and Daulton with the home runs. Chapman, like you pointed out, got moved down, but got right back on the board there. Alejandro Kirk struggled. Whit Merrifield, unbelievable out of him. I want to see him in the lineup every day. We've talked about it so many times. He just continues to hit the ball well. His average has stayed high. His on-base percentage is above 350. And also shout out to Danny Jansen, who has hit the ball very, very hard the past couple days. But overall, a very, very impressive game out of the hitters, defense, and pitching.
And law of averages, right? That stuff's all going to even out as the season rolls along. George Springer's not a 200 hitter. Bo is going to start to get hot again. It's ebbs and flows, right? And Danny Jansen's not a 150 hitter either. So that stuff's all going to iron itself out. And I was just very impressed today. Although Clark Schmidt no-hit the Blue Jays through 4 1/3, which is not something that you want to see. Their approach was not great early on, but they started to figure it out, and they took advantage of an Anthony Volpe error, and that's something that other teams have been doing to the Blue Jays so far to start the season. They've been taking advantage of the Jays' mistakes and making them pay for it, but today the Blue Jays did it, and they did not look back once they started to hit.
Yeah, it's something that good teams tend to do, is when there's errors. And Anthony Volpe's a very, very good fielder. Very good fielder. And he ended up...
He's legit.
Yeah, he ended up having an error, which ultimately was costly, but if you're a Yankees fan out there, Clark Schmidt, all of his runs were unearned. So his ERA did continue to it did plummet after this game, which was good for you guys. But like you said, George Springer, and we'll also mention quickly, he's been lacing the ball, getting very unlucky. He had a game, of course, you remember, we could have had 2, maybe even 3 home runs there to center field. But I'll digress there. As we move into the final topic now, Peter, I'll let you touch on this a little bit, which is the bigger picture of today's game, and just what I'm happy. I'm very happy with the start the Blue Jays have had. They were 13-9 as it currently stands. Like we touched on earlier, the schedule is going to get easier. We have the White Sox up next. And what were your thoughts after the first 21 games for the Toronto Blue Jays? 22 games.
Yeah, well, it's been okay, and they're on pace right now for 95 wins, which at the start of the season, if you were to tell me they'd win 95 games, I'd say, I'll take it. Let's sign me up. And we're in the overreaction business. That's what we do. After a loss, we lose our marbles, and after a win, the Blue Jays are on top of the world, and they're headed for the World Series tomorrow. That's just the way it goes. I mean, we're fans at the end of the day as well, but the bigger picture is that they are 13-9. They're on pace for 95 wins, and the last time through the rotation, each starter has gone at least 6 innings while allowing 2 earned runs or less. And that's a sign in the right direction. And yes, we'd love to see the bullpen be more shut down. We'd love to see the approach at the plate be a lot better, especially against low caliber pitchers like Clark Schmidt. But it is what it is. You're getting results, and whether they're sustainable or not, that's not up to you to decide. The Jays are winning games, and they're doing what they need to do on most nights, but you'd like to see those close games where they're in it until the end go their way once in a while.
Yeah, and again, very hard schedule to start. If you would have told us at the start of the year 13-9, it would have made a lot of sense. And that's not including the fact there's a lot of games that we could have won that I wouldn't say we threw away, but that if our approach was a little bit better, we did the little things right. Like, we did all the little things right today. and we ended up winning 5-1. But
Hmm.
overall, very, very impressive series for the Blue Jays. Another series win, and if you continue to just win every series, you're going to be in good shape and going to be approaching that 100-win mark. And the Jays against the AL East rival, which in a year that we don't play them as much as we have in the past, each game is very important. But that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be there for the pregame stream tomorrow. See you then.
Thanks.